Hi guys, it's Michelle, and today's video is going to be another pop culture conspiracy theories video for you guys. You guys know I love pop culture. Sorry, I just think celebrities are fun. I like focusing on their life instead of mine. God forbid, I'm a normal human girl. There has been so much going on in the pop culture world lately. There's a lot of conspiracy and a lot of stuff going around on TikTok, so let's get into it. All right, the first theory I want to talk about is, are JayZ and Beyonce actually connected to Diddy? And a lot of people seem to think so. I saw this TikTok kind of explaining a theory about their connection that I wanted to include because I just thought it was very, very interesting.
Now, I bet you want to know why JayZ and Beyonce's name keep popping up around the whole Diddy thing. Well, that's why I'm here. Now, first thing you gotta know is when somebody like Diddy gets taken down, things always start out as a rumor. Diddy has had rumors floating around for like decades. Well, JayZ had a problem. He right there in the corner, by the way. JayZ has had a few rumors himself, but more like speculation. People see JayZ in a picture of R. Kelly, they're like, I guess they both make music. Then JayZ with Harvey Weinstein. People are like, I guess they both do business. Then, of course, JayZ with Diddy. Now, hold on. Here's the thing. JayZ and Diddy go way back. Like back to the days when they were both coming up. So you could say they might just have a lot of respect for each other. But on the other hand, people are like, well, if you've known each other that long, JayZ, you must have known what Diddy was on. But JayZ has always had a history of keeping quiet, which brings us to Aaliyah. Now, I'm sure y'all remember R. Kelly dated Aaliyah when she literally needed her parents' permission slip to get married. Now, if I remember correctly, her parents got the permission slip and said, marry who? And that's how this whole thing got exposed. Now, a lot of people in the industry actually knew about this relationship because they would work with R. Kelly. They would be in the studio with R. Kelly. Now, according to Dame Dash, who listened closely, was JayZ's first business partner and also dated Aaliyah when she was 21. He said this is how it went. He said he didn't want anything to do with R. Kelly because everyone knew what type of timing R. Kelly was on. He looks over at JayZ and JayZ's out here creating collab albums with R. Kelly. But then he saw why. For starters, everyone had a crush on Aaliyah. People were waiting down the clock until she turned 18. But JayZ decided to get a head start. Now, there's absolutely no proof that JayZ went after Aaliyah, but people were like, let me see another picture. But apparently JayZ wasn't successful and Dame Dash started dating her when she was 21. Now, what does this all have to do with Diddy? It's the secrets. It's the, like what happened to Diddy, making people wonder. Nas came out, well, he technically didn't come out and say this, but while he was having his legendary beef with JayZ, he's doing a radio interview and he's saying, it's weird that JayZ be working with people that need a permission slip to marry somebody, R. Kelly. But again, rumors, kind of like what was happening to Diddy. But then this lawyer comes out and says, boy, do I got some news for y'all. And here's where it starts to get wicked. Now, he's going after Diddy. Specifically, listen closely, anyone that Diddy might have done something to, or anyone who's watched Diddy do some of these things and stayed silent about it. Now, first of all, the lawyer's taking calls from anyone. So theoretically, anyone could just call trying to get some money saying Diddy did this to me, Diddy should pay me. But in the lawyer's defense, I'm sure he's looking for people with proof. Honestly, I don't know him. He could be trash. Anyway, what he said next is what got people interested. He said, and I got some names. He said some wild names. Some names that will blow your mind. He's selling this. He's saying, yo, y'all finna wild out when you hear these names. I'm not gonna say it now, but y'all finna wild out. So people are like, Now, in Beyonce's case, it's just because she's married to JayZ and she's been in the industry for like 20 years. People are like, you must have known something. But that's all people have. Now, in JayZ's defense, he's famously all about the money. As far as we've seen, he's always been around Diddy for like a public event or when money's involved. And the same could be said for all the other people he was around. He could have thought, oh, R. Kelly's huge right now. Let me do an album with him to boost my name up. Many people have come out saying JayZ is a cutthroat businessman, kind of like Bill Gates, who I actually think is a sociopath, but that's a story for another day. And cutthroat businessmen will cross any line and work with anyone to get what they want. Because at the end of the day, to them, it's just business. That being said, that doesn't make this a good thing. That's why JayZ can still be prosecuted for watching crimes happen but not saying anything about it. But at the end of the day, as you probably know, JayZ is rich. He's not going to jail for that. It would need an insane amount of evidence, and even then, he would still probably get off. But that doesn't really matter in some cases. A lot of times, reputation is the most important thing. So a lot of times, the courts will take a case they know they can't win or sign a deal just to get the rumor mill started and get people going, yo, why did Bill Cosby sign a deal? For those of you that don't know, Bill Cosby was arrested like 20 years before the big, allegations came out. They told him, just tell us you did it and we won't broadcast this. He said, absolutely. I need to save my reputation. People started asking questions. Boom, boom, boom. 20 years later, he goes to jail. But he actually did get out because the cops did say they were going to keep his confession low-key, but then they used it against him 20 years later. But anyway, back to JayZ. At the end of the day, this could go any way. The thing is, Diddy's sloppy. He was bound to get caught. JayZ, not sloppy. So he would be a tough one to catch. But on the other hand, the FBI is pretty good at their jobs. And remember that lawyer from earlier that's going against Diddy and is gathering all those names on his alleged accomplices? Well, he also said that he gave a lot of his information to the FBI. And if JayZ's name pops up, he's in trouble, because how the FBI works is they'll take that information and they'll put it in a little vault with all the other information they might have on JayZ. When it's enough to lock him up, that's when they'll come out. So if you see the words FBI and JayZ in the same sentence, it's a wrap.
So I think the reason so many people are connecting JayZ and Beyonce to P. Diddy is mostly because obviously they were friends. They're friends. I think for me at least, JayZ is clearly friends with and has been friends with very suspicious bad people over time, including like Harvey Weinstein, R. Kelly, P. Diddy, and that's all pretty bad. And I think Beyonce gets like guilty by association, which is why I think a lot of people have had a bunch of different conspiracy theories about Beyonce in the recent like past month since all of this P. Diddy stuff has really come out. And personally, I think that we're gonna find a lot more out about JayZ during P. Diddy's trial, because I do think that JayZ is connected in some way. And I will say, I don't think enough people are talking about his connection to Aaliyah. In my eyes, like, there is something very suspicious going on with Aaliyah's death. She did not want to go on that plane. She was drugged and dragged onto that plane unconscious. And even Jaguar Wright, who has been the whistleblower throughout this entire Diddy case, has claimed multiple times that JayZ could have been involved with Aaliyah's death. I don't know if I would say that I believe that's 100% true, but I do think the connection between Diddy and JayZ it's there. It's uncanny. They have been friends for a very long time. JayZ has been friends with other very sketchy people. And I'm not saying you can always blame the people who are friends with these terrible people, but I will say when it's kind of a pattern of him consistently being friends with people who are later exposed for being like abusive or essaying people, just all that gross shit, it is strange that JayZ is connected to all of these people. I will say. I just wonder if JayZ was involved with a lot of the stuff that was going on with Diddy and R. Kelly, Harvey Weinstein, or if he was just observing it and remained complacent, or did he really not know what his good friends were getting up to? I don't know. That's what I'll say is, like, I mean, it's a possibility for sure that he didn't know and other people around Diddy didn't know. But in my eyes, Diddy, Jeffrey Epstein, these people are not working alone. You know what I mean? Like, there is clearly a group of people here who are either interested in participating in these nefarious activities or are willing to turn a blind eye to it. And I just think a lot of stuff is going to get exposed during this Diddy trial, and I'm really curious to see what will come of it. But a lot of people don't think anything will come of it at all because they think that Diddy's gonna get murdered. I don't know. I think that would be clearly very suspicious. I just don't know if the public would let that fly, but we'll see. Speaking of P. Diddy, did P. Diddy have secret underground tunnels that led from his house to Michael Jackson's house? Let's talk about it. So there is a pretty popular conspiracy theory, especially on TikTok, about how the FBI found underground tunnels beneath P. Diddy's Los Angeles mansion, and supposedly these tunnels allegedly lead to Michael Jackson's former residence and also the Playboy Mansion. I don't know that I think that this is true. Obviously, there has been no proof about this, and people have come out saying that it's not true, but also if it was true, that would be very suspicious. So I wouldn't be surprised if they acted like it was completely untrue. But nonetheless, I do think that this is an interesting theory. And allegedly, I will say a lot of the confusion apparently comes from the fact that on Sean Combs' property, there's an underground swimming tunnel that connects his pool to a grotto. I don't know if that architectural element is what's confusing people, but I will say it's weird. It is weird. Either way. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Do you believe that there are tunnels that connect Diddy's house to other places like Michael Jackson's old house or the Playboy Mansion. I don't know. I just don't feel like this makes too much sense, but a lot of people think that there was a lot of crazy shit going on with child trafficking, and having those tunnels would connect people without anyone else being aware of it. And it's like a very scary thought. If that's true, that is freaking terrifying. But let me know your guys' thoughts on it. All right, the next conspiracy theory I want to talk about has to do with Glee. Glee, iconic show, but there's a lot of dark shit surrounding the show, as you probably know. And a lot of people have so many different conspiracy theories about the show Glee, and there has been a lot of death that surrounds the show as well. We've talked about several different theories, but I want to talk about Mark Salling's death in particular, because honestly, I don't really see that many people talk about this theory, but I do think it's really interesting. So Mark Salling, who played Noah Puckerman, was the second member of the main Glee cast to pass away, and that's kind of when the whole Glee curse theory really started taking off. But he was arrested in 2015 after his girlfriend at the time found pictures of CP on his computer, and of course she reported it to the police, and he pled guilty in December of 2017. He admitted to downloading over 25,000 photos of children on his computer, which is just disgusting, obviously, and he faced a sentence of 4 to 7 years. The reason he faced such a short sentencing was because he was willing to and set to expose a ton of people who were doing the same thing that he was doing, that he was aware of. Not only people who were looking at this kind of thing, but people that Mark Salling claimed that he was distributing CP to, that are also in the industry, allegedly. So he was set to and allegedly had prepared for this court date that was supposed to be in March of 2018, and he was going to expose many people potentially in the industry. Some people say potentially other people who worked on Glee. I don't know if that's true, but either way, he planned on, and that's why he got the plea bargain that he got, was so that he was going to give up a lot of information about other people who were participating in downloading CP and distributing it. But on January 30th of 2018, Mark Salling was found dead in the forest, where he took his own life. But according to a lot of theories and blind items, a lot of people talk about how Mark Salling was actually murdered because he died just a month before he was set to give a list of names of people in the industry who he distributed CP to. Apparently there were talks of defensive wounds on his hands that made it look like he tried to fight off an attacker, but ultimately his death was ruled a suicide. I mean, I will say I do think it's strange that the amount, like, his trial kept getting postponed multiple times because of the amount of people he was naming. Like, he was down to give every name of all of these people who were involved with the same disgusting shit that he was involved in. And he was willing to give that information to lower his sentencing. And again, it was lowered to 4 to 7 years, which is insane because I feel like that should be a life in prison situation. But either way, there are some people who compare this to Jeffrey Epstein in the sense of they believe that Mark Salling didn't actually take his own life and was murdered by some of the people who were on his list of people he was planning to expose. And I don't know. I do think that it is strange, again, how often his trial kept getting pushed back because he just kept giving names. I think it's strange that he would want to even try to lower his sentencing if he was just going to take his own life. I don't know. I don't think it's impossible, but I do think it is a weird situation because he was only a month away from trial. I don't know. It just is, something about it is weird to me. But let me know your guys' thoughts on this. The next theory I want to talk about has to do with Kanye West and Britney Spears being clones. This theory has been popularized by a TV star from Laguna Beach named Kristen Cavallari, who recently spoke about this publicly, which is interesting because I always think it's interesting when people in the entertainment industry speak on conspiracy theories because obviously, like, they know more than the average person. That's just a fact. I can say that with a lot of confidence as a, like, social media person who's, like, I mean, not the most famous social media person in the world. Obviously, there are people who are way higher up, but I know shit. Like, I hear shit that a bunch of other people don't know just from being in LA. And so I do think it's interesting because obviously being on a reality show is deeper in the entertainment industry, but regardless, let's talk about the theory. So with both Britney and Kanye, people just claim that their physical appearance is very different, but also their behavior. I will agree, but I do think mental health can be and probably is a big factor in both of these cases. So Kristen talked about this on her podcast where she said, quote, I think there are clones, okay? And I think Kanye is a clone. She also said to look at recent pictures of Britney Spears and compare them to how she used to look and claim that that's just a completely different person. I do think that it's interesting that she went with Britney and Kanye specifically together because it reminds me of when Jeffree Star tweeted at the end of 2021 saying, quote, what a crazy year. I escaped the Illuminati in 2021 and they still haven't killed me. Every day I wake up grateful. In 2020, I was going to expose everything. In a matter of days, the Hollywood elite tried to ruin my entire career, villainize me, flooded the news with lies to discredit me. If you guys only knew the truth about what they're doing to Britney and Kanye. So I do think that that pairing is interesting. And a lot of people tend to compare them together, but it's weird because they don't really have any other connection other than they seem a little off or different than they used to. I don't know. I do think it's an interesting theory. I'm just not sure I believe in clones. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people will be mad at me for not believing in that, but it's kind of a boring theory in my opinion. Like, I'm like, okay. Do you know how much crazier stuff they could have done with clones? They don't need to clone these celebrities. That's my opinion. All right, the next theory is kind of fun. It's about Sabrina Carpenter. A lot of people have been speculating whether or not she is wearing a wig on her Short and Sweet tour. I actually don't know. Either she's wearing a wig or she's freaking blessed as hell because I've never seen that much volume and that much curl that stays throughout an entire freaking show where she's dancing around and sweating. It's kind of nuts, actually. A lot of people are suggesting that she is actually wearing wigs to help protect her natural hair from being styled every single night on tour, which honestly, to me, makes a lot of sense. In an interview recently, Sabrina said, I will not confirm or deny. I don't even know what a wig is, but I also don't know what not a wig is. So obviously she was just kind of poking fun at the theory. I think it's true, but I also don't understand why people care. It's okay. I think she should wear a wig instead of putting heat on her hair every single night. That's like a lot. And in my opinion, that her on-stage hairstyle just looks too perfect to be real. There's definitely at least extensions in that thing. There's no way in hell. The next theory that I want to talk about has to do with Ariana Grande, and a lot of people are really annoying about how her voice sounds lately. So has the Wicked movie altered Ariana Grande's voice forever? A lot of people seem to think so. Basically, a lot of clips about Ariana have been surfacing about how her voice changes a lot. Sometimes she speaks in a deeper tone, and sometimes she speaks really high up, like Glinda.
I mean, that's the only thing I thought. That's how I felt. I was like, what has happened? Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I've been writing a lot, and maybe there's some more, but I would like to do a deluxe at some point.
Which a lot of people are attributing to the fact that she is playing Glinda. Sure, her voice is like, obviously at a higher octave. However, so a lot of people think this is like a method acting technique, kind of similar to Austin Butler having famously adopted the Elvis voice and never stopped using it. I will say I've definitely picked up on something about Ariana. I've loved that bitch for a really long time. It's been 14 years. That's crazy. I've been a fan of Ariana for 14 years. And I've definitely picked up on certain things. So Ariana does a lot of impressions and she's really good at it. I don't know what the word is for this because I also have heard this is a sign of borderline personality disorder, and I don't think that necessarily she has that or that's true. But I will say I do think she adopts other people's vernacular a lot. I've seen it happen multiple times with multiple different people depending on who she's with. The girl is from Florida and yet she talks mostly with a New York accent because her family is from New York. And when she's with her family, she has even stronger of a New York accent. And I do that too. I feel like a lot of people do that, but she does it to a different level, obviously. And I just think that she has always picked up on the way people talk around her. And as for the method acting technique, like, maybe she's doing it more often now because she was just doing it so much when she was filming Wicked. But I will say Ariana has quite literally always done that. And if you know, you know. She has always switched her tone a lot and spoken in like kind of like a higher voice, a softer voice, like her head voice, and then also her regular voice has always stayed the same, but she kind of jumps around the octave a lot. I don't know. Okay, I don't think that it's because Wicked like ruined her voice. I feel like so many people get really, really angry about this, and I don't know why, because I'm just like, girl, she sounds the same to me. Allegedly that protects your voice and it protects your vocal cords or something. I don't know. To be honest, the girl's always done that. I've always seen her switch from her head voice to her normal voice multiple times. So I don't know if I believe that this is really a conspiracy theory. As much as people just like to hate on celebrities. And honestly, I get it. I get it. So I'm not like that mad about it. But I do think Ariana definitely does tend to pick up on the way that people speak around her. And she kind of molds to people around her. Which, if you want to do your own psychology analysis on that, go ahead. Because I don't know. Alright, the last theory that we're going to talk about has to do with Miss Taylor Swift. Is Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's relationship a political stunt? Are they government plants? Let's find out. With Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift dating, I think a lot of people kind of have different conspiracy theories revolving around their relationship as a whole. I will say that I think that the speculation from all of this really has to do with the fact that Travis and Taylor Swift seem like such different people. Like, Taylor Swift, if you've been a Taylor Swift fan for a really long time, her dating a football player seems so out of character. And a lot of people thought that it was because they were trying to get more people to watch the NFL. I don't know if I think that's true, because I don't think that really, like why do you care if Taylor Swift fans are watching the NFL? But an interesting theory, I will say. And some people think that the reason that Travis and Taylor's relationship has been so publicized is so that when Taylor Swift endorsed Kamala Harris, that also was pointing at the idea that also Travis Kelce endorsed her as well, which obviously I would say most Taylor Swift fans are probably liberal for the most part. But for football fans, I don't really think that goes the same way. I think a lot of football fans may be Trumpies. I don't know. So the theory is that Taylor and Travis's relationship was all a part of a political scheme to get more right-wing voters to vote blue. I don't really think that this is true, but I do think it's an interesting theory because it is strange to me how vastly different, like, Patrick Mahomes and Brittany Mahomes' opinions are from Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Like, obviously people can have different opinions, but I would say that going as far to endorse opposite politicians, it's like, I don't know how they're really cool with each other like that. Like, sorry. I guess a lot of right-wing conservative people believe that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's relationship was orchestrated to benefit the Democratic, at the time, Joe Biden's re-election campaign. I don't know if I think it's true, but I will say I think a football player saying that they support a Democratic politician, I mean, obviously that audience of people who watch football is more broad than Taylor Swift. Like, I would, again, think most Swifties kind of know where Taylor Swift stands. I do think it's an interesting conspiracy theory, but I don't really think it's true, but I want to hear your guys' thoughts on it. Anyway, that is it for today's video. If you guys liked it, please give it a big thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of these pop culture conspiracy theories. If you have any pop culture, like, celebrities that you want me to do theories on, let me know in the comments below. But that is it. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, and subscribe for new videos every week, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.